What's going on, everybody? It's Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. Dan to most of you. How you doing? How's your week going so far? Mine is all right. I mean, got a workout in yesterday. Just working. Massive inventory project on my uh on my list on my queue. That's pretty much what I do. Doing at work right now. End of year inventory. Um, really exciting stuff. I know, but yeah, other than that, not too much is going on. We had Thanksgiving, which again, I'm sure I hopefully everyone had a good one. Everyone's safe and happy and you know didn't get food poisoning or anything like that, or leave their food out and have their significant others pissed at them. But yeah, and then there was Survivor Series was this weekend, and I don't know. I saw little highlights of it, little brief clips of what was going on there, and that didn't seem there wasn't much going on there for me. They did WWE did the War Games concept, which I don't know. I could go on. Uh, actually, Um, fun fact to start at the video. I did one of these already. I had already done one of these, but I had to I drink a lot of fluids. Not that you need to know everything about my personal life, but I drink a lot of fluids in the morning. It's part of my morning ritual as far as some of the like the protein drinks and drinking this, and I do a lemon drink, and all sorts. I drink a lot of fluids in the morning. Point being is I wind up peeing like a racehorse for the next few hours. So I'm sitting here doing the video, and I'm sitting here squirming around in the seat, and my friggin' brain started glitching out because the nervous system was being overtaken by the bladder. And you'd say to yourself, well, Dan, why don't you just pause the video, go take a piss, and go about your day? And it's like, but I like to do these, and I try to do these in one take. I don't really, I'm one thing I can't stand about content creators and people who make videos and post them online is I can't stand all of that freaking the edited jump cuts and the just the quick boop, 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 and you're watching them, and then now it's this, and then now it's this, and then and it's like, can you just I understand. I understand you're from a different generation, younger folk, but does everybody have to be treated like they have ADD? Like, can you just put something together and just talk? Like, I get it. And I do occasionally edit stuff, but at the same time, I'd rather just talk and have it flow. And even when I'm stumbling and stammering and saying the wrong stuff and letting my ignorance be on full display, I just let it flow in, which is part of the reason why I had to stop the video and go take care of the people's business because my brain couldn't think, and then I couldn't focus, and I was just like, as far as focus goes, that's where my focus was starting to drift, was because it's like, oh man, I gotta go do this. So I said, you know what, I kind of babbled a little bit too long about the wrestling thing to begin with anyhow, so I'll try to shorten it up for the purposes of that's not what I'm here to talk about. If anybody wants to hear me talk about that sort of stuff, I certainly will. But just, let me know. Go put it. I'll horror for engagement for a quick second. Put a comment down and let me know if there's anything wrestling related you want to hear me extrapolate on or pontificate on or use more big words that I probably don't even really understand what they mean. But yeah, they did War Games for Survivor Series, and it was 4 matches. The show was probably 3 hours long or something to that effect. And it's just like, come on now, will you? Will you really? I mean, first of all, you don't need. If you're not familiar with War Games, War Games is a concept that they came up with in the NWA. I believe Dusty Rhodes created it, and the whole idea was it was a game. It was a War Games was designed as a match to prevent the Four Horsemen, Ric Flair, Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, to prevent them from wreaking the sort of havoc that they were constantly wreaking on Dusty, on Nikita Koloff, on Magnum TA, the Road Warriors, the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, the Four Horsemen were the shit back in the day, in the '80s in the NWA. They were the greatest heel faction probably that's ever come and gone in the business. Super influential to so many people. I mean, that's really where Ric Flair made his bones as far as a performer, was in the NWA, being part of the Four Horsemen. And you watch him now, he's kind of like, you see some videos that pop up and he's kind of cringe because he can't let the persona die. And but at the same time, but that's where it came from. That's the idea. Uh, a steel cage. I think back it was, I think it was always two rings steel cage over top of it. So that was the idea. And then there's rules too. I'm not going to get into the whole history of war games, but that's what they did. It went away for a while, and then they brought it back in NXT, their developmental. But that's what they did this week. And there were two matches. They had to have a guy's one and a woman's one, because of course they did. Because everything's got to be across the board the same. You can't just you know like I don't under the thing I don't understand is that Survivor Series was this concept that they came up with. It was always a Thanksgiving tradition that WWF, WWE would put on. And it was always an idea where you'd have like these teams, you'd create these teams, there'd be captains, and it was an elimination style tag match. And it was always cool because you got to see everybody. Everybody got to be in there. And you want to talk about being fair and all of that shit and equal and all that. That's the best way to do it. Everybody gets to be on the show because that's like the mindset of wrestling is like everybody's got to be on the show. That's why you see these matches where there's four, five, six people in one match, and it's just a cluster bomb of a nightmare of a match. It's because everybody's got to be on the card, and that's kind of the whole idea. And that's something that they got from the indies. It's all these indie people that go to the WWF, and that's what they come up with is everyone's got to be on the show. So that's what you get, all these cluster bomb matches that go on. But Survivor Series back in the day was always the coolest way to do that. You have like four or five matches, a bunch of people on different teams, elimination style. Of They used to do the thing where the winners of the match would go on to a final ultimate match at the end of the show, and that'd be the big finale. And so it was cool, but and they didn't do any of that this year, and I just don't understand. Just go back to doing traditional Survivor Series matches. They're fun, they're cool, and you get to shut your brain off and just watch all the wild cast of characters do whatever. And you think there's so many people on the rosters in WWE and even AEW, they're so bloated right now. You would think that they would jump on the idea of having Survivor Series matches and putting all these people to work and letting them go out there and show off and maybe get people interested. But they don't do that. It's just four matches, and let's highlight this one or that one, and is like, so yeah, so that was that. That was my wrestling babble. That again still went on way too long because that's just what I do. If you click on this video, you know what you're getting into by watching me. So I will both simultaneously apologize and not apologize. So anyhow, why are we here? So what I'm talking about today is it's gonna be okay. My neighbor's walking by wondering why is the loco gringo talking to himself. But anyhow, it is this band here. It's the band's name is All Sinners. They're a band four-piece from Massachusetts, and this is their album We Own the Night. Came out on Rat Pack Records. Rat Pack is a label that I just found out about through these guys. It has a very unique roster. A lot of different, more like hard rock, veering into heavy metal. There's a collaboration between Dave Ellefson and Jeff Scott Soto. They got Doug Pinnick's got his latest solo album on there. Lynch Mob just put out an album on there. There's a couple of Metal Churches put stuff out there previously, and there's a few others. Michael Bay Show put stuff on their label. So that's kind of the stuff that you get from them. Kind of hard rock drifting into heavy metal, and this is exactly what All Sinners is. It's like a nice little bridge between that 80s Sunset Strip style of glam rock and drifting into 80s 90s style heavy metal, like heavy, not quite you're not getting into speed or thrash quite, but more like you start veering more towards like your Accepts and your Lizzie Bordens and your Saxons and stuff like that. Not so much new wave of British heavy metal type of stuff, but just like that. Like Malice would be another good one I could say, where it's like even Wasp, but Wasp I didn't really think was a fair comparison, but stuff that it's a little bit heavier than just your standard uh cock rocker kind of, Motley Crue at their worst kind of stuff would be the best way I could describe it. I know sometimes people hear glam metal or hair band stuff and especially when you're into extreme metal like a lot of people here are, you kind of bristle at the thought of listening to any of that stuff, but no, please do give this a fair bit of attention because it is a fantastic album. It's a very riff heavy, very I don't want to say it kind of leans a little bit into the virtuoso-y type, kind of like the wankery kind of stuff like Ingve or Michael Batio, but it doesn't go too far into that realm. You can see where they take a little bit of little notes and inspiration from that style of music, but they don't really lean into it too much. There's lots of, I would say, as far as bands that it would be comparable to. I'd say probably Winery Dogs, Blue Murder, some Thin Lizzy, stuff like that. I wanted to say like Tesla, but it's not even really like even some of the heavier stuff that Tesla's done. I don't even know if it really like the two are really comparable as far as that goes. It's a little different, just a little different style. But it's a fantastic release. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I found out about it through a channel. The guy's name is Aaron Alamere, Aaron Mother Alamere. You can see that right here. He's got a great channel. He does a thing on Tuesdays called Tipsy Tuesday where he'll sit there, he'll have a couple of beers, and he'll play some music and show off some of his collection. And it's really cool because he's very passionate about it. And he does what I like about it is that he'll go out there and he'll do all the things that we all do that maybe some people are embarrassed that they do, but others, we all do it. Everybody goes when they're alone and they'll listen to music. You'll play air guitar, you'll sing along to the stuff, you'll headbang, you really get into it. And he'll do this, but he films it, and it's cool. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching his collection, seeing some of the stuff that he pulls out. Some of it I like, some of it I'd never heard of, some of it I'm not too interested in. Some of it's like he pulled out a Rick Springfield album on Tipsy Tuesday a couple weeks ago. It's like, oh, my older sister has that. That's pretty cool. But it's a cool little idea, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. But that's how I found out about All Sinners. He played theirs a couple of weeks ago, and I was listening to it. It's like, that's not bad. So I listened to it again. Then I went on Rat Pack and I saw how much it was, and I said, I'll just order it from my local shop. And they got it for me. Didn't bother to tell me it came in. So I would have done this review a week or so ago, but my local record shop didn't tell me that they had something waiting for me. So yay. And I know what you're thinking. Dan, if you had to stop recording a video because you were drinking too many fluids, why are you drinking more? This is just what I do. If you know me and you deal with me every day, you get used to it. You get used to the constant bathroom breaks that don't last long, but they're intense, you know. So ladies, that's what you have to expect. Intense but short short burps. But anyhow, so back to what we should be talking about here. So some of the songs on here that are really good. I really like the final track, The Reason. That's probably my favorite song on here. It's got a very killer riff after the first verse that I really enjoy. Real fuzzy and like kind of like the uh not trills, but there's like a little like a tap and pull on and off with the riff. That it's got a nice little sound to it. I'm probably butchering whatever the technique is, but that one I really enjoy. The first opening track, Into the Flames, is really good. We Own the Night is really good. The title track. There's a lot of stuff on this that's fantastic. It's 10 songs plus intro, a little instrumental intro at the beginning. Very good stuff. Lyrically, it kind of dives into more like more in some respects, kind of inspirational kind of stuff, almost to the point of almost like where it kind of starts to sound a little stripery, but not quite as Jesus-y or as some people refer to it, white light lyrics. But it's really good. It talks about, as opposed to where you get all like demons and wizards and black magic and sorcery and gore and serial killers and stuff like that. It kind of delves, I think, more into the aspects of dealing with, like, it'll talk about demons, but more like the demons in your head, all the voices that cause all the doubt and self-loathing and stuff like that, and more like the mental mental health struggles and stuff like that, which I think a lot of people deal with. You hear more and more of it each day. I have my moments at times, as I'm sure everybody does, and it focuses a lot on that, and it's a very cool concept, just exploring that sort of thing. And yeah, it's a very very cool stuff. The Wave's an interesting one because that's probably the most like kind of like inspirational song of it. It kind of focuses on more like kind of light religious aspects, but nothing too preachy or testimonially or anything that's gonna make people bristle. But I know plenty of people who are into extreme metal. They'll still listen to stuff like Striper, and there's other bands that are out there that I know. um, I always said Trevor from Fumes of Hatred. He's mentioned a couple of like more like the Christian metal type bands, but this isn't Christian metal as far as I could tell. But it kind of veers closer to that than I was anticipating. Is the best way I could, as far as that piece of the subject, the topic that was in my that rattling around in my empty head. That was kind of where I was going with that. I was kind of surprised at how close to more like a Christian metal kind of band it was just by listening to the lyrics. But don't let that, if that's going to be something that dissuades you, don't let it, because this is a fantastic band. Like I say, if you like anything that Thin Lizzy does, Blue Murder, Winery Dogs, if you like stuff like that, it's a great, great release. I should actually probably at this point give a little bit of attribution to the band itself. Uh, like I say, they are a four-piece. It is on vocals and guitar is Mike Galars, Nick Testoni, or Testone. Not quite sure how to pronounce that one, but he's lead guitarist. Uh, Bruce Morrison on bass and Roger Chenard on drums. They've been together since 2023, again from Wareham, Massachusetts, and just a fantastic, fantastic band. I mean, very cool stuff. They've got a couple of EPs, unplugged EP that they did, live album that they did. And yeah, really cool stuff. I would highly recommend checking it out. It's definitely going to be one of those dark horse candidates as far as albums I've listened to this year that's really good. So yeah, man, All Sinners, We Own the Night. Go check them out. Go check out Aaron's channel. I'll have links for all this stuff. Go check out Rat Pack if you like some of the bands I mentioned that are on their roster. And yeah, good stuff. So that is that. That's what I got for you. Hope everyone enjoyed it. This is Dan Moonshine. Thanking you for joining me here at Moonshine Talking. As always, everyone have a good one. Take it easy and stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact. Don't forget to breathe. I will catch you on the next video. Later.